Welcome back to the Lockwood Chronicles. My name is Larissa, and today we are doing a book tag. I love book tags, and it's been a little bit since we've done one. And this one, I went to ChatGPT because, as I do, I was like, can you give me a book tag questionnaire feeling books to read when for the spring summer vibes, and they delivered. So this is a books to read when ... and it's all spring summer vibes, and I love it. So for this, I am going to be recommending 2 books for each prompt that I have personally read, and then a book that is off of my TBR that I want to read that I feel like might fit the prompt, in my opinion, as of now when I haven't read them. 2 books that I've read, 1 book that I haven't. It's gonna be a chatty one, so I'll try to keep it somewhat down, but we all know that I love to yap. Also, if you have noticed the different quality of this video, it's because I got a new camera, which you will see in maybe not this next vlog, but the next vlog after that. That's when I get the new camera, but I wanted to film this video with it because I'm so excited. It is the Canon PowerShot V10, and so far I am absolutely loving it. Hopefully you are too. It is so great to have a camera that is functional. This is my first chatty sit down video with this camera, so hopefully you like it. If you don't, please don't tell me. I don't want to know. Let's get started. I have listed all of the questions in the description box below if you wanted to play along. Yeah, recommend a book or a book also that you think is your vibe that is on your TBR. Books to read when the first flowers start blooming. A book that feels fresh, hopeful, or quietly beautiful. And this one I feel like is a very obvious one to me, and that is Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. It is narrated by Meryl Streep on the audiobook. I highly recommend the audiobook for this. Meryl Streep, she is born to do a lot of things, and narrating that book was definitely one of them. It was a 5 out of 5 star for me. The reason it was an amazing book by itself, but I think the audiobook took it to that 5-star level for me because she just does an incredible job. It is about this mother who, it is during the pandemic times, but that's not a huge role with it. It's her and her daughters, and she is relaying or telling a story about when she used to date this famous actor before he made it big time, because she performed in this theater when she was younger. And she is relaying this as they are, I think, picking cherries on their farm in Michigan. It's a fun story. It is a very good story, and I absolutely adored it. Again, go the Meryl Streep route, listen to the audiobook. You won't regret it. My next recommendation is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. Fun and hopeful, and just, it is quietly beautiful, I think. The reverse Pretty Woman. So she is really good at her job. She makes a ton of money. Stella has Asperger's, and she is uncomfortable with physical affection and dating, but she wants to date. So she hires Michael, who is an escort, an adult escort. And her hopes with him is that he will teach her how to be intimate with another partner. It's just a fun, cute, fresh story, I think. And again, it's reverse Pretty Woman, and I love Pretty Woman, but this take on it was so fun, and it was a good time. I highly recommend. And then I'm gonna regret this one. And then the book that I have on my TBR that I want to read that fits this prompt. I'm really nervous about this one. It is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Michaela, I saw that you read this book and that it had you absolutely sobbing on the plane. It may offer a fresh and hopeful, quietly beautiful, even though it will be absolutely heartbreakingly devastating. And that's what Taylor Jenkins Reid does to me. I find her books extremely emotional and real and raw. Unique situations, especially her backlist titles. She just has a way with words and writing, and she's so talented. It may not be a super fun cutesy, but I feel like she does a great job of a hopeful and quietly beautiful story. All right, question 2, books to read when you need a serotonin boost. A joyful, cozy, or laugh out loud read. And I'm going to recommend The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This is a Crazy Rich Asians dramatic book, and it is so funny, flirty. I went into this book when I got it last year, I think it was, with 0 expectations, and had a freaking blast. So it is very similar to the book on Honeymooners, kind of. Our main characters, Anna and Wes, they are married for marriage for convenience when they're in college for housing purposes. She thinks they get divorced after they no longer need the housing situation. Turns out they're still married. His family, again, still believes that he's married, and in order to access like an inheritance or something, he has to be married for 5 years. So he approaches her because he needs to go to his sister's wedding and asks her to play along and act like they're still married. And his family is drama. They go to this absolutely beautiful resort, and she just has some wisecracks, and she is so funny and just out of the scope of this family. Just a normal girl going thrusted upon into this crazy rich family. And it is so fun and flirty, and I loved it. There's that book as my recommendation. My second recommendation for that is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. This is just fun if you're wanting a cozy fantasy read. It is not high stakes, like it is low stakes. It is flirty. There's just a lot of tension and yearning that you can feel. This is about Evie, and she ends up working as an assistant to the villain in this like fantasy fairy tale world. When I imagine this world, I imagine Tangled vibes. They just get in a bunch of hijinks, and it also just offers the perspective of what actually is truly evil. Yeah, it is a series. The third book comes out later this year, and I'm so excited. They're just so silly goofy. Do not go into this with crazy expectations, but they are fun and silly, and the banter is funny, and Evie is just a hoot and a half. And our villain is a grumpy, broody guy, but he's so cute. A book on my TBR that I have for this is Problematic Summer Romance by Allie Hazelwood. I like Allie Hazelwood. I think she is a fun cotton candy author for me. I don't really know anything about this book. I feel like it was a surprise release considering she just came out with, I keep wanting to call it Wet because that was the original title and I can't get it out of my head. What is the actual book? Deep End. Just considering she just came out with Deep End, she has another book coming out this year. Her books are very reminiscent in the fanfic industry because that is how she originally got her start, was she was writing fanfic. I just think they're fun. I don't really know anything about this book, but I feel like it will fit this prompt because I always have some laugh out loud moments. Okie dokie. Books to read when it rains on a warm day. Something introspective, romantic, or soft. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. And this is Nora. Nora is the oldest daughter and workaholic, big time, works in the publishing industry. She is the one in like the Hallmark movies. This is how she describes herself, as the girlfriend that gets left because she just works all the time and is so singularly focused on her career. She has a really good banter with Charlie Lastra, who is just... He's so cute. They're both in the book industry. It's just adorable. Her sister, Libby, wants to go on this vacation before, kind of like a baby moon before her baby is born, and just spend some quality time with her sister. So they go to this small town where this book that they both love is written and about, and just spend time there. And guess who happens to be there? Charlie Lastra. And while this book isn't completely about the sisters' relationship, it is intertwined, and we do see a lot with Charlie and her as well. Beautiful, and oh my gosh, just the way that she writes things is, yeah, very introspective. And it's romantic. And we see a hard girl be soft, and I just love this book. I need to reread this book. I love her writing. It's always gorgeous. This one is technically set in around Christmas time, but we're gonna ignore that because I read it in the summertime a couple years ago and absolutely loved it. So I just pretended that the holidays that around there, New Year's, Christmas, it was like 4th of July or something. I pretended they were different holidays because I don't think it matters that much. But that is Marriage for One, and this is about Jack and Rose. They have a marriage of convenience, and he is a lawyer and she is a girl that wants to open a coffee shop. However, her uncle passed away and he was supposed to leave her the space, the building that her coffee shop was supposed to go. Unfortunately, he left it to her husband. That was the technical term in the law agreement, not the name of her husband, which works out in her favor because she and her fiance called it quits. And then Jack comes in and he's like, I'll help you. We're gonna get married, and that way I'll rent it out to you, or whatever it is. Very much marriage of convenience on that aspect. And she's like, what are you getting out of this? He's like, prime real estate, baby. And he is so standoffish and grumpy, but his acts of service are so endearing and small, but like in a large way. And she is just so kind. It's so cute. I cannot speak more highly about this book. I really loved it. I don't know if it was just like the time that I was reading it, but I absolutely loved it. I would love to reread this one too. And it's on Kindle Unlimited. That's where I first read it. And I was like, I immediately have to get the physical book. And no, I typically do not like men or like real people on my covers, but tell me why I'm okay with this. I would love to frame this. He's so gorgeous. I'm perfectly fine with this man on my cover. Yeah, okay, I need to put him down. Anybody else on Park Talk, the national parks, being extra spicy lately? Yeah, I've ended up on all of them. Yellowstone goes off. Yellowstone is going so hard right now, and all the other parks are joining in, and it is a wonderful place to be if you are a book girly. Oh man, yep. I was definitely summoned by Book Talk to follow the national parks. And as someone who loves national parks and going hiking and stuff, it's making me want to go hiking even more often. Okay. Okay, continuing on with the book from my TBR that I think will fit this, introspective, romantic, or soft. And that is Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I said that so weird. I don't know what it's about, but I feel like her books are very introspective and romantic, but not in like a heavy romance way, but in the romance of life and just softness and just, this is what this book is vibing for me. And I feel like it's going to be about 4 people, 4 friends, a group of friends or somebody. They're all intertwined, living life, coming of age, or something like that. I have no idea what it's about, nor do I want to, because I want to go into it with no thoughts. And this is in my TBR this month, so hopefully I get to it because I would love to read it this month or very shortly after. Okay, question 4. Wow, we are not very far at all. All right, I'll try to speed it up, guys. Books to read when you're lying in the grass with nowhere to be. A slow, immersive story or lyrical writing. And I feel like this belongs to The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is about a recluse Hollywood icon, Evelyn Hugo, and she has been married 7 times, and it is broken down into like 7 aspects of those marriages. Monique is the one interviewing her and figuring out why she just disappeared, as well as just lots of twists and turns. It is a fantastic story. A lot I didn't see coming. Important topics too that have been brought up about this book. I cried. I loved it. I would love to reread any of these books on this list. And then Happy Place by Emily Henry. Any Emily Henry or Taylor Jenkins Reid book is gonna fit these prompts, honestly. This is definitely one of, if not my favorite, Emily Henry book. But I also love People We Meet on Vacation. I love A Friends to Lovers, and that's what this is. Harriet and Wynne are engaged, and they're in this very close, tight-knit friend group that they met in college. All the friends, everybody is spread out nowadays. And every year they go to Maine to this beach house that their friend's father owns. And this year is a little bit different. Harriet was supposed to go to this alone because her and Wynne have broke off their engagement. She was supposed to go alone and break the news to the friend group about this. And when she shows up, he's there. Wynne is there, and he is pretending that they are still engaged. I loved this book because the friendships and the connections between the friends was done absolutely to perfection. The writing was so beautiful. I felt like I was a part of the friend group and that I was there with them. Harriet is a very close character to me. It is miscommunication, but I get it just because of how her and Wynne are. And it is unfortunate that it is miscommunication. If you don't like that trope, I wouldn't count this one out. I cried a lot during this book because of how much I resonated with the characters and situations. At the end of the day, it's about friendships and how they evolve as we grow up. And it's just, oof. All right, speaking of friends, next book that I want to read off my TBR is My Friends by Frederick Bachman. Bachman? I still don't know, guys. I don't know anything about it. Well, it's definitely about friends. I don't know. I have no idea. I love his writing. I think he is so very, very talented. Every time I read one of his books, I am immediately sucked into that world. He just has a really beautiful way of capturing the everyday life of people and their emotions, weaving it into these beautiful stories too. I can't wait to read this. Books to read when you're on a road trip, real or imagined. Something adventurous, coming of age, or escapist. This one's gonna be kind of crazy. Wild by Cheryl Strayed. This is a nonfiction. I read this book at a time in my life where I absolutely needed it. About Cheryl, who takes this long hiking trip up the Pacific Northwest, is it? Oh, the Pacific Crest Trail from the Mojave Desert. Am I saying that right? Mojave? Sorry if I mispronounced that. Through California to Oregon to Washington State. It is a long, very popular trail, and it is about her just trying to find herself. It is very coming of age, but like, she has done things in her life that are questionable and just feels lost, not knowing which direction to go. And she gets it in her head like, I'm gonna do this. And she does it. And it takes a long time and some planning, and there were some hiccups along the way. The movie with Reese Witherspoon is also really, really good. This is my introduction of, I would love to go hiking, and I was a very beginner hiker. I still kind of am. This was very inspirational in that. Also, park talk. Perfect. I felt brave reading this and knowing like the things that she went through while she was on this trip and learned about herself. It made an impact on me. It made me rethink how I live my life. And I've reread this a few times now. I do want to reread it again because it's so good. I think this is a really great book if you are just feeling a little lost and want to feel comforted in not being alone in those feelings. Just trying something new in a new direction. It doesn't have to be outdoors or hiking, but I think this is a really good one if you're just feeling like in a rut. And it's adventurous and escapist and coming of age. I think it fits this prompt very well. But for those of you that want something a little more fun, again, like I said, I am a People We Meet on Vacation girly. Emily Henry, People We Meet on Vacation. This is my first book that I read by her. Friends to Lovers is my favorite trope, and I absolutely love this one. Again, another miscommunication trope. The situation I was going in while reading this book was a little too close to home. I related so heavily to Poppy because I am not, I wouldn't say eccentric like her, but I am bubbly and loud, and people I typically go for in my romantic life are a little quieter and softer, but I like to see those different sides of them. And she refers to Alex as like her Alex when he does these moments. Yeah, let's just say like I get very emotional reading this book, but it is about their friendship and these trips that they go on every single summer since they met in college, figuring out along the way these really crappy hotel rooms, but just experiencing this life together. And then something happens and they don't talk for a couple years. I get why people don't like the miscommunication trope, but as somebody who I can see myself and have done miscommunication is astounding. Like, I relate way too hard to it because I hate confrontation, to be completely honest. And that's why I relate to it too much. But I am trying to get better, as we see Poppy trying to get better at confronting her feelings and her thoughts. The movie is going to be coming out soon, and I'm really excited. Again, I love this book. I know not everybody does. I definitely related so heavily to this book, and it's also a really good book. Again, if you're feeling really lost and unsettled and maybe stagnant in your life or your career. And then for the adventurous and escapist, let's go with Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. They've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes and they've killed each other in every one. So I know that it's more fantasy. I feel like mythology. I think there's a Greek myth that plays into this. Smallville did this. Okay, fun fact. Smallville is my favorite TV show. I love Superman. And I am blanking on the couple though. Were they firebuds? Were they phoenixes? I don't know. There is some myth or superhero retelling or something that is very similar to what this sounds like, which is why I chose this book. We know that they kill each other in every lifetime, but they also love each other. And they just keep finding each other, and how to like break that pattern, I think it's going to be. We'll find out. Not me saying that I need to speed things along and me continuing to just yap, yap, yap. Question 6. Books to read when you're sipping iced coffee in the sun. I am not a coffee drinker, so we're going to pretend it's tea. Something light, breezy, or aesthetic. And we're going to go with A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. So Elsie ends up going on this cabin trip her and her friends are supposed to take. They take it every year. However, everybody has a conflict, but she's still going to go. So she gets in her truck and starts the drive. Ends up breaking down in this small town. Turns out this small town is from one of her favorite romance novels series. Every character is there, except she doesn't recognize the handsome bookseller. And we follow along with that. And it's just so immersive and fun and cute and very aesthetic. The town that I imagined was very like Gilmore Girl-esque. Ashley Poston's books always have a magical realism with it. And it was fun. It wasn't anything serious. I thought it was great. As well as my other recommendation is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This is a cozy fantasy. It is about Linus Baker, and he is a caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth. And he is charged with going to the house in the Cerulean Sea, where it is an orphanage for a bunch of magical children, and they are like high case, very dangerous children with magical abilities. So he goes to check in and make sure that everything is running smoothly, or as it should be. These kids have a lot of prejudice against them because of what they are and what they can do. Oh, it is beautiful. It is such a lovely, aesthetic, cozy story. The next one is Flawless by Elsie Silver. As you know, I'm going to be getting into my cowboy girl person romance journey, and Flawless is the book that I have chosen to start with because Elsie Silver, that's, I feel like, the OG of the cow person sphere. Yeah, that's really all I know. It's a small town cowboy romance. Yeehaw! Books to read when you're feeling nostalgic. A book that reminds you of childhood summers or simpler times. Not that this one is simpler by any means, but that is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. There is a different cover for this now, and mine has some water damage on it, unfortunately. This is Macy and Elliot are children, kids going into teenage years. Macy just lost her mom. Her dad gets them a cabin in the woods, and it is next to Elliot's family. They both love reading so much, just connect on such a deeper level, grow up that way. They're each other's first loves, and then something happens and they don't talk for about 10 years. The flashbacks that we get to their childhoods is so nostalgic and so, it's just so cute. And then it absolutely destroys you. As well as One in a Millennial by Kate Kennedy. I would recommend listening to the audiobook for this one. It is very well done. Kate reads it herself, and it is just girlhood in the early 2000s, 1990, like, it is very nostalgic in that time period where I grew up in. And just going back and listening to what was popular, the trends, how girls were just feeling back then, and the pressures that were put upon them, and I mean, continue to have pressures put upon them, but especially in the time of the paparazzi and the media, where a lot of actors and famous people didn't have the ability to take control of the narrative with their own social media. So it was just so nostalgic, and I just related so much to it, especially during that time period. And then going off of that Y2K era, which is Honey by Isabel Banta, I am filming a reading vlog on this, so stay tuned. This is about Amber Young, and she is a singer up and coming in like that Y2K era. Narrative about the industry and how girls are perceived and their sexuality as well as like their body image. The writing has been, I'm not finished with it yet, but the writing has been absolutely fantastic, and I've been really, really liking it. Books to read when you're having a main character moment, something with strong vibes, a voicey narration, or dramatic flair. And that is going to be The Conditions of Will. I just did a reading vlog on this one, and this is following Georgia, and there's a lot of family drama that goes on here, but Georgia is so freaking cool. Profiles people, essentially, is what she's doing. She is taking into account their body language, their tics in their face of like different facial expressions with any minute change in the muscle of anything movement in there. And she's able to deduce when people are lying or telling the truth, or just their feelings in general with their body language, and everything that is unspoken speaks so loudly to her. It is so freaking cool. Her mind is amazing. This writing is absolutely fantastic. The relationship in here, the romantic relationship in here, is full of wonderful, beautiful communication. There's a lot of family drama and what happens when people change and when they don't change, and just family dynamics in general. Another main character moment, I will not shut up about the series. I feel like I have to talk about it every single book tag or recommendation video, and that is the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. It is a bind up. It is 5 different books, but you read them all as one. It is so, so good. So this is about Lana, and she is a female serial killer. How fun and exciting. Yes, girl. The people that she is going after She has a specific agenda with them due to part of her past, which we uncover throughout the book too. Man on the case from the FBI is trying to track her down. However, he doesn't realize he's trying to track her down, and they end up coming across each other and forming a romance. And he's trying to get to her, but she's obviously trying to not be found out by him. She is such a badass female character. I highly recommend. I would love for this to become a show. Look up trigger warnings if you are sensitive to specific topics, because yeah, there is a lot. Ugh, I need to reread this book. As I say that with every single book that I bring up. Think this one will fall into that category. At least like the strong vibes, voicing narration, dramatic flair. And that is the Griffin Sisters Greatest Hits by Jennifer Weiner. Is about these two sisters who have a band and then a huge falling out. Somebody is trying, I think one of the daughters or something is trying to get the band back together or figure it out. But also in the Y2K era. That's really all I know. Okay, I'm gonna break my rules on this one. I do have 3 different options or suggestions to give that I have read. Question number 9, books to read when you're in seasonal romance era. Your go-to spring or summer romance pick. And I'm gonna say Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This I feel like captures summer so well, and the couple in here is just absolutely fantastic. There is a lot of family drama that occurs in here too. Our main characters are Emma and Justin. Emma is a traveling nurse who is getting assigned elsewhere, and Justin he is the guy, both of them actually are the people that date somebody, and then the next person that those people date after they end things, like they end up getting married. So very much like a good luck Chuck type of situation. And they decide to date for the summer. She gets transferred to the Twin Cities, which I absolutely love. They start to date to hopefully when they break things off, it'll cancel out their curses. But there's a lot of familial drama and things that are happening in both of their lives. Justin is such a beautiful MMC. He is like, if he wanted to, he would. The surveys that he sends her for the dates that they're going on, I wish so wholeheartedly. That would ease so much anxiety in any dating situation. Like what to wear, where do you want to go, what time of day are you looking for, are there any like restrictions or anything, as well as like how did the date go and all of that. It is a really fun one. There are hard-hitting topics in this, as with all of her books, like emotional parts of this. It's a really fun summer read. Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. Oh, wow. It is so good. It is a small town. In our MMC, he is considered grumpy, standoffish, blah, blah, blah. And not very many people interact with him until our girly pop gets there and realizes that he can't speak. Her father was deaf, and so she knows sign language, and he does as well. And so they communicate through that, and it just blossoms into this beautiful romance. And Archer is so innocent and naive in a lot of ways, and he is so wholesome and so cute and has been misjudged by so many people. The next one is The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson. I was completely taken aback about how much I loved this book, and it is a baseball romance. I forget what their names are. Oh, I should look things up before I head off there. But our girl, our FMC, she shows up to this baseball game to spite her ex to get her tickets, and then ends up heckling one of the players, and he ends up looking like he is going to cry. Turns out that he has been through something very emotional, and the words that she said just like really hit specifically in that time, even though they weren't like the most aggressive words. Anyway, so she contacts him via Instagram, and he just like happens to check her DM, and they end up corresponding that way. He doesn't realize that it's her, because she ends up like accidentally not sending part of the message or something like that. But they end up corresponding through this and getting to know each other like that and developing a connection, and through that medium. However, she also gets hired as a sideline reporter or somebody for the team, crazily enough, ends up interacting with him in that regard too. So he thinks he's talking to 2 different people when it's really just her. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. It's a good, like, baseball obviously is a spring summer sport to me, and it is. And it's just, I thought it was a cute romance, and I just had a lot of fun with it. And the book on my TBR for this prompt is Throttled by Lauren Asher, which is part of the Dirty Air series. I have not read the series. It's an F1 racing series, and I know nothing about F1, but I do want to read this book. I've heard fantastic things about this series and I need to get on it. I need to hop on that bandwagon. Last question. Yay, we've only chatted for so long. Books to read when the sun sets later and you can't stop reading. A page turner that keeps you hooked past bedtime. I'm only showing you one from the series, but just know that the first two are together because I could not stop reading both of them. And that is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, Binding and Keeping 13. They are one book to me because I went immediately from this one into the second one, could not stop reading it, could not put it down. I did not want to go to work. I wanted to read this series and wow, it is so good. Lots of trigger warnings though. Lots of trigger warnings, okay? This is Johnny and Shannon. They're so cute. They're in high school, but this reads very much older than their high school selves. The circumstances that they are both in. Johnny is a star. He plays rugby and he is going places with that. Like everybody knows that he is a big time deal in this high school part of it. Shannon has a really tough home life and she is bullied at school. She ends up transferring to this private school where Johnny is and they have a little incident of a meet cute and they just keep circling each other and oh my gosh, the way Johnny shows up for Shannon. It is so good. I love the Boys of Tommen series, but Johnny and Shannon is my favorite couple out of them so far. Absolutely love. And then this one I could not put down either, which is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. And I absolutely adored it. There is different media in this, so it is the book, and then you get a podcast episode into it as well. Lucy and Savvy are best friends. However, Savvy ends up being unalived. And Lucy cannot remember what happened and everybody thinks that she unalived her best friend growing up. She ends up moving away and getting on with her life, but now this podcast comes to light and resurfaces everything. She loses her job, ends up having to go back to her grandmother's house and for some reason or other, birthday or something. And the podcast guy is there too. They are trying to solve this unsolved case while also podcasting about it. It's also a little spicy. There's a little romance in there too. It was a page turner for me. I could not put it down. I don't really like scary things either, but that one was fine. I like a psychological thriller. It was good, guys. And the book on my TBR that I thought would fit this prompt would be Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I have read Alice Feeney's a few of her other books too, and I have been unable to put them down because she does really good short chapters and I just feel like I can fly through it. I think this is, okay, author Grady Green. His wife disappears and then he ends up going to this island and ends up seeing a woman that looks exactly like her, but apparently isn't. I don't know, but we'll find out when I read this book eventually. All right, friends, that is the end. All the questions are listed down below. Feel free to pick one, pick all. I don't really care. I would love to know your answers of books that you've read or books that you think would fit the vibe. Whatever you want to put in there, that's fine with me. But feel free to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future reading blogs or other book tags or any other bookish content. And I would just love to have you here. As well as like this video, I would really appreciate it. And with that being said, respect others, respect yourself, and do something amazing with your day. Thanks, bye!